Welcome to another edition of Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast, with your host, Brandon Morrell.
What's up, Farm Flops? This is recording artist Hasting, and you're listening to the best in music, sports, and entertainment. It's the Backstage Pass with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime on the sportsguyspodcast.com and on thwn.org. You can also stream on iHeartRadio podcasts. You're going to be glad you did.
And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, it's a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. We do a little bit of everything here on the show, presented by our friends at JK Subaru. Your car buying experience is about to change. Give them a call, 409-723-1111. You cannot forget that number, 1111 right there, too, for JK Subaru. Voted best amongst all the new cars out there, too, as well, for safety features and consumer report over the last few years. And, of course, here on the show today, again, thanks to our friends at Morrell Law Firm and out there, too, as well, for other great sponsors, too. The CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Well, speaking of country, we connected a few years ago, and I like to kind of follow up with some of my former guests out there, too. And she's going by the artist name of Hasting at the moment, currently right now, too. The new single out there across all the DSPs is one of my favorite songs. Instantly, it became called Truck Talk, and we all need a little bit of truck talk here on the Backstage Pass. Welcome, Hasting, to the show. How you doing, my friend?
Howdy. It's been a while.
It has been a few years. I say that to a lot of guests.
I'm surprised. No one's more surprised that I'm still around than me. So I'm glad to see a familiar face here, a familiar voice.
Well, it is good to hear that, too, at the same time, because you often wonder, people you put on your playlist before for different songs we talked about in the past. Like I said, if they're still out there doing the thing and enjoying it and in the creative arts business, because we were talking before the show there too, that this is a tough business to be in. Talk about just your journey from starting as a musician to currently where you are in your career right now. What have been some of the biggest challenges and some of the biggest celebrations out there? Talk about that for me.
It's funny because I very recently, actually, there's sort of been this weight lifted. I don't know what it is, other than the thing that made me write was always sort of just like just a loneliness, that was really in me, no matter how many people were in the room. A lot of anxiety growing up, but I've always loved country music, and it's always been sort of it's been something that's gotten me through. But specifically, like Alcohol by Brad Paisley or Big and Rich, I Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. I have never had a bad time listening to that song. I don't know. So much has happened that had nothing to do with music that highly impacted music. So, years back, I lost my father, and my mom was hurt during the accident. And I was telling a friend the other day, I don't remember anything about who I was before that. I truly don't remember the peace, the arrogance that must have just gone on in my body to think that, that can't happen to me, or, I don't know. It was a little bit delusional, and I think I took a lot of things for granted. But then a second taking for granted was believing, after getting, stopping drinking and getting sober, that was going to fix my problems. And, I was really going to figure out, do I want to do music? Do I not want to? And so there's just kind of been this half in, half out for me, whether I've ever admitted it or not. I think this project that's coming out now has been a part of me for a very long time, but it requires a certain level of bravery and an unapologeticness, as Hardy called some creating, that I just don't think I had in me, and that's no one's fault but my own until now. And so for the first time in my life, I think every part of this is hard. Life is hard. That, I talk to people back home, and certainly what they're doing seems harder than what I'm doing. You know, that it's just, life is just difficult no matter what. And then coming into a business that was pretty lucrative before 2020 into a pretty stagnant business that worked completely different, which such is the way of the world, you know, along with some loss, along with, you know, stopping drinking. I wasn't really sure where this went for me because it was never a make it at all costs. This was something I fell into. I've told you before, I am not the most gifted songwriter, but my gosh, I'm lucky. I end up in the right spots, and man, I have been given grace and forgiveness in ways that I don't even fully understand yet. I've seen people come here and make one mistake, and you know, the rest is history. And I seem to be full of them publicly, and this town has sort of just loved me through the crazy. And I believe, as it stands right now, I am maybe for the first time in my life capable of creating what I've always known I was supposed to create. And I don't know that means it's certainly not going to win any Grammys, but every time you think there can't be another truck song, I challenge you that there sure can.
And the beauty about that here, again, with Hasting here on the Backstage Pass, is we get to play that song called Truck Talk right here, too, on the show right now, too. Again, you guys can check the show out. iHeartRadio podcast, the sportsguyspodcast.com, anytime there, too. And, of course, out there, thwn.org. It's Truck Talk, and we all need a good just truck song in country music. Here it is from Hasting here, the Backstage Pass. Back in a flash. Stay tuned.
I bet he's got you parked out by the lake, just like he did back then with me. In that midnight moonlight, saying things that he may or may not mean. I bet he's pulling up that metal console, you're laying back those leather seats. You got your feet on the dash and he's making you laugh with his hand on more than your knee. I bet he made that truck talk sound so good he almost got your clothes off. Yeah, that guy will go and put his pickup lines in forward draft, turn promises into lies, whatever he said in that bed. And baby, that's just truck talk. Truck talk. I bet you fell in love with his old bird dog and say she was the only girl in his life. Till you came along and you make a good dog mom. That boy can cast a line. He'll have you hanging on every lie. I bet he made that truck talk sound so good he almost got your clothes off. Yeah, that guy will go and put his pickup lines in forward draft, turn promises into lies, whatever he said in that bed. And baby, that's just truck talk. Truck talk. Under that stupid window sticker that says locally hated, there's a toolbox in the bed, he keeps a pillow and a blanket, split a Cabernet and hang on every word he's saying. But he don't wanna fall in love, he just wants to I bet he got your I bet he made that truck talk sound so good he almost got your clothes off. Yeah, that guy will go and put his pickup lines in forward draft, turn promises into lies, whatever he said in that bed. And baby, that's just truck talk. Got better letters than their weather tag. Truck talk. Yeah.
Hey y'all, this is Nashville recording artist Sunny Sweeney, and you're listening to the best in music and sports, the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream anytime on the sportsguyspodcast.com and on thwn.org. You can also listen anytime on iHeartRadio podcast.
At JK Subaru, we love our cars.
And we love our customers.
We believe in being a positive force
in our community by being involved and giving back.
Respecting your time every time.
Our promise is a brighter future.
We all do our part to keep our promise to you.
At JK Subaru, we are more than just selling cars.
We are your neighbors, friends, and even family.
More than a car dealer, our people make the difference. JK Subaru at the airport.
Hey guys, this is Brandon Wisham, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and on iHeartRadio podcast and stream at the sportsguyspodcast.com and on thwn.org.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
Hey y'all, this is Nashville recording artist Mary Sarah, and you're listening to the best in music and sports talk, the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio podcasts and at thwn.org.
Elevate your next event with Backstage Pass DJ, MC, and announcer services, where unforgettable moments take center stage. We specialize in bringing energy and excitement to a wide range of occasions, including weddings, birthdays, corporate events, school dances, graduations, family reunions, class reunions, anniversaries, engagement parties, bar and bat mitzvahs, office parties, quinceañeras, sweet 16s, conferences, and more. No matter the venue, whether it's a banquet hall, ballroom, conference, or convention center, concert hall, outdoor venue, office, community center, barn, or any location of your choosing, our team ensures seamless entertainment tailored to your needs. Let Backstage Pass create the perfect vibe, keep your guests engaged, and turn your celebration into a lasting memory. Book your event with Brandon Morell and Backstage Pass today. Go now to thesportsguyspodcast.com and enhance your next event with Backstage Pass.
Hey guys and gals, this is recording artist Peyton Porter, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio podcasts and on thwn.org.
Welcome to another edition of Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast, with your host, Brandon Morell.
And that was Truck Talk there from Hasting here on the Backstage Pass. Yeah, you know what? JK Subaru, jksubaru.com, 409-723-1111. Also, thanks to Morell Law Firm and our friends over there at the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. You know, you mentioned that because I always love that double kind of entendre there, too, when you look at double T there with Truck Talk. And you mentioned the stories behind the songs.
Oh, you like that alliteration?
I do.
There's more where that came from. That's one of my cheapest tricks.
That's a cheap trick. But talk about, where you were and kind of the setting for us. Unveil that a little bit as far as the idea for this particular tune, when it came out, the idea to write it, and just shed some light on this great tune. I love it.
The songs that I end up cutting, and really this is sort of a Brave New World, kind of just doing my own thing, and really just me deciding, and not that I didn't decide it with Hasting and Co., but I do feel somewhat guilty now because I think this was always going to go this way for me. This sort of throwback to where I came from. You can take the girl out of Ohio, but gosh darn, you can't take the Ohio out of the girl. She just a little trashy. And leaning into that and leaning into like what I grew up around and how just apropos it is for country music, I just stopped running from that. And truck talk, see, alliteration's hard. A lot of the songs that I've cut, they are in my head for months or years. And I had heard somebody talking about pillow talk, and I was like, isn't that like a term from the 1980s? And they're like, no. And then they explained to me, basically it means, when you're messing around or you're intimate with someone or you're in the heat of the moment, maybe you say some things that you don't mean, and it doesn't, does it mean as much there as it does once you're not on the pillow, I guess. In this case, I thought that sounds a lot like the guys that I've dated at home, never know what happens in the truck might just be staying in the truck no matter what. And, that may be on me too. So I just kept thinking how funny that was. And it was the last day of a writing retreat. I was with Sarah Jones, Drake Plants, Kimberly Atwood, and Elena Jones. And Sarah's mom. So I don't know, she might have a word in there somehow, but they had us, Sarah Jones' family had us to their cabin to write. And, I've been in a pretty, what would we say? In a paralysis of creating. But they were all kind enough to all sit with me, which there's nothing a writer fears more or is more uncomfortable with than bringing a song into the entire room. I was thinking it was something Sarah and I were going to knock out, but I don't know, Drake started playing something and it just made sense. Sarah sometimes knows me better than I know myself. She, as a writer, she makes things in my head that are very complicated seem very easy, and she's never been frightened by the crazy. In fact, I mean, she works for Priscilla, so I think she just sort of embraces different. And that's what's made her a great creative, is leaning into things that maybe aren't exactly what you think. And so I said, let's start it out. I've always wanted to start a song out with, I bet he's got you parked out by the lake, because that song, I'm parked out by the lake, that was everywhere. I was like, I want to put every cliche that we can find in it, because it's a truck song. And if one more person tells me, oh my gosh, I heard you're a country writer, but I bet your stuff is good. Like already giving a disclaimer to, I bet your stuff is good. You probably write about more than just like trucks. No, actually, that's all I write about. In fact, I'm hoping to do a double album because that is how I was raised. And I think for a lot of country music listeners, it's either true to how they were raised or it's something that they can escape with. And so I'm just getting started. That's one truck song. Wait for the rest.
And the rest means she has to come back here on the show. Keeps people like me in business, which is a good thing, I guess, out there, and the sponsors too, so she can tell these stories to all the listeners out there too, in over 27 countries worldwide, since we got over 1 million streams and listeners.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
On this
27?
very podcast. Yeah, 27 countries.
I don't
worldwide.
even have a passport, and that's a huge joke with my friends. I'm a house cat, and you've got 27 countries just spinning you.
It's pretty cool. Well, that's a good thing that you guys keeping me in business for these last 6-7 years going on, and it's been a ride. And what's cool is you guys, I love the story you talk about there too, is perseverance, because it becomes very important in this industry. That you're right, it's a tough town. People say 10-year town. We've seen artists come on here and tell us it's taken 12, 13, 15, or 20 to get to where
I
they
would
want to go.
say 10 at 2020. 10 was obsolete because there's now there is no strainer. The labels, I came to appreciate labels in 2020 because there is a certain amount of riffraff that maybe should be checked at the door. Just check it before we throw it out into the universe. But at the same time, everybody can release now, and that's cool. So, but it is, I think, definitely harder to make something stick.
Yeah, it is. And it's such, you mentioned it's kind of, what have you done for me lately? Somebody can come out, as you mentioned, have instant success with a few hits at the top. And then there's some songs that maybe are not hits, but then to prolong your career, it's always like, okay, what's the next big project we're working, for the future to, give to somebody out there. So either, like I said, you can make money off that person too, or put an investment in someone too, because you're right, it's a very much a challenging and ever changing business too, because you have to kind of dot your I's, cross your T's, right?
Yeah. And I think something that is something I see less of, that doesn't mean there is, I'm a house cat, like I said, before 2020, talking to writers, especially new writers in town versus writers now, they always ask, like, how did you find, your crew, the people that you write the best with? Well, it wasn't, weren't 7,000 people to choose from. The cream was rising to the top a little quicker. So we were, people that were very serious about it were more regularly in the same rooms. Whereas now, you could go to 5 writers rounds a week and meet and not know a single person playing. So there has that natural hierarchy has sort of gone by the wayside. But the way to combat that is loyalty through, creating that space. So creating your family here that you see each other through some really hard times, because it's ugly. Fame has a really dark side, a really ugly side. There's a lot of competitive people here that aren't even competitive necessarily with one another, but it comes off as that. There's just a lot of different human emotions that play out really fast in a week here. And I think that it would be beneficial to this town, and myself included, to build that family of people I believe in, where it's never for me just been songwriters or creators. Like, if I love a business, I'm obsessed with this business that I'm, and I've never influenced, unless it's like, here's a Croc, but Croc wasn't part of it. Probably they were like, please take that down. It certainly wasn't a collab, but I really want to partner with this business because I think what they're doing is so different. I think what you're doing is so cool because it shows that side of something that I've lacked, especially in, grief, has been consistency. But consistency at the end of the day, I would say, is the most important currency here. And then you want to build a family around that consistency, because ain't none of us got our moms and dads here. Most of them are mad that we're here. So, we don't even have moms and dads anymore. So we got to throw birthday parties for dogs, because we can't have kids on the road. We've got to find reasons and ways to make normal and to support each other so that we can have the best this world has to offer if you choose art. And I think it is just truly, art will not exist without building community. And that's something that Nashville, I feel like, is still refiguring out after 2020.
You mentioned a key word there, support. And I had to have it to keep this thing going. Any line of work out there, but especially, like you mentioned, creative arts, drinking, and how that was hard. I gave it up. Became a father too at the same time years ago. It's the same thing of making life choices, things like that. How key was that to become sober in that, but a support system in place to have that for you to again rise to the top from, kind of where things were in the doldrums. Talk about that for me.
Yeah. It's like, it's really hard to talk about being sober without mentioning Sarah Jones, Priscilla Block, Josh Beal. And it still makes me cry because, I've had trouble, I think sometimes with the shame that I have, because those people were they gave me so much grace to something that unless you've experienced really hard, like a really hard problem with alcohol, it's hard for me to relate, like, oh yeah, I just couldn't quit drinking. And that may be, but the way that I experienced drinking it was bigger than me. And I've never had something that I couldn't out-regiment, outthink, outwork. And it just was an evil. And it was something that it's very recent that I can feel it just slipping off. But, people can say whatever they want, but we had built this community we believed in each other. And, Sarah and Priscilla drove me home to be with my mom times that I was really sick. Josh Beal, my God, the things that he did to keep me alive. It's hard to know how many years I took off his life. But he kept a lot on mine. And if we didn't have that, or we hadn't started to build that, would it really matter if anyone in the group made it if somebody didn't?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, making it, like you said, we spoke earlier, is what does that even mean? But we all know what not making it is. And, that's, to me, that's not being here. And I don't mean Nashville, like it was dire. Mm-hmm. And I found that the best musicians to work with, the writers I respect the most powerful artists, they're powerful in everything that they do. Priscilla wasn't going to let me die. Sarah wasn't going to let me die. Josh wasn't going to let me die. And I wanted to, so, and they believed in me enough that we just kept it moving. And it's like any family. It's like your chosen family or your given family. It's all going to take a lot of work because life never really ends up looking exactly like you think it will. But I would say, that's those same attributes are what make Priscilla, in my opinion, unstoppable. And we have just seen the beginning of Priscilla Block.
That is a statement I will underline every day and put in bold print because I saw her at CMA week.
Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. For this next phase of women of country music. And I was going to ask you about that too, because put her right there in that category, because I remember even having Sarah Jones on this very show who actually
I remember because we
did. And
yeah,
Sarah,
I said, you got to meet Sarah.
Yeah, we did. And we had her on the show. We talked to her. May have to have her back again. Like I said, put in a good word for us too. But such a huge talent. And then I saw Priscilla come up from the ranks, pay her dues ever since Thick Thighs came out, which I believe Sarah actually wrote.
Well,
that
you
song.
already know too. I was like a walking inflatable arm man for her. Like I just didn't even really care what happened in my career. It was like something made sense to me for the future of country.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a walking star.
She is, and she put on a hell of a show. I believe it was out there next to the Duck Blind or somewhere out there, Riley Green's bar right there in Nashville. We went to this year, saw her perform, and I think it was Losers I went to in the parking lot out there, and they just had like Kid Rock show up and a bunch of musicians, and it was fun. It was fun to watch her out there command the stage. Audience sing songs back to her, and they looked at me and they're like, "Well, Brandon, have you had her?" I was like, "Yeah, I've had her on the radio show. We've had her several times, and definitely at the main events where she's always at, and it's just great to see her career just blossom the way it has." What about this next generation? You mentioned Priscilla, but you can put, Lainey, who's up for another.
She is. I think Sarah and I, we went to Cracker Barrel, despite their brief rearrangement of their booths. I'd really hate to leave Cracker Barrel in the dust, so I'm glad they fixed that real quick. But we went to eat and have our music business conversations, future of the world, which is to us only music business. Sarah loves it the way I love it, and I love that. And, we talked about some of the hard times, and she said, we discussed how I think when I didn't go out on the road with them, and when I kind of saw, I was going to die. I mean, just bottom line, music was part of healing, but it certainly was going to take healing before I could make music. And I'm just never going to want to make the music that everybody else wants me to make. So I just felt like what am I doing here? And so I had this all these cuts maybe are I had a lot of things nobody will ever have in this town because it's just, changing. So I was at the highest of high career-wise, and I realized people aren't getting it yet. And it didn't, I could not make sense of that in my brain. And I'm like, we knew this. I don't want to be a part of any project. I don't want to believe in a project. I don't want to be a wacky inflatable arm man for a project that's vanilla, because I think that everything in country music that broadens the lane a little bit so that we can all continue to create and still honor the roots has been just a little uncomfortable for people to embrace. And so what you see what I saw is the generation below us, they get it. They know. they're ready for a Priscilla block. That this isn't too much for them. This is exactly right. She's not just the funny girl, she's a great writer. And I thought about Sam Hunt and how in the beginning, I mean, you could not hear one good thing about him. But the Grammys years later would look okay to me. And you know, there I think that things are uncomfortable because they're new, but I think that it's really important to remember when people like see new artist of the year or something, you know, friends back home will be like, that person's been around forever. And it's like, in some ways, yeah, but music isn't linear. You know, the music, the way to make it, especially for a woman, you got to have like at least 25 rebrands, 6 hair colors, maybe, you know, there's just a lot that goes into it. And I'm still as excited about her as I was the day we met. I wasn't excited about her the day we met. I think we were in a little argument. I think she told me that it smelled like my house smelled like my dog, which it did. But I just said, you know, I was used to pushing around, and here we go. I was like, okay, this girl is serious. I think Ella Langley is just a breath of fresh air. She's like hanging out with a dude too. So who wouldn't like, she's just all the best of everything. She does not care. And I know that she does, but she can roll with it. And that's very, I think that's very attractive in an artist. I think that the art it's there. I'd like to see more out of Hunter Girl. I think that she is, what a human. And there's a picture of a bunch of us when we were at a CMA thing probably 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we all look just like, what are we doing here? And so we were kind of sending it around, and I sent it to Hunter, and I was like, nothing has changed. We are still asking, what are we doing here? Does anyone know what we're supposed to be doing? But she is good. She's a good person too.
Great person too. Had her here on the show. Got to talk to her. Hunter Girl, one of my favorite artists out there too. You mentioned that phrase. You've used it several times. The my dog, my dog. So we got to play another track here from Hasting here on the Backstage Pass KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and out there too, iHeartRadio podcast and the SportsGuysPodcast.com, a grand slam of music, sports, entertainment. It's called My Dog. It is Hasting. Hang tight. Coming right back. Stay tuned. A lot more coming up.
Should've known when you pulled your car in by the way that he was barking and how he only let you halfway down the drive. When you first leaned in to pet him, he just lifted up his leg and started pissing on your brand new set of tires. Well, I guess I should've listened to his canine intuition. Drama when he tore up your Tony Llamas. Guess he caught a scent of where your boots had been. And the first time you stayed over, that poor dog slept on the floor. He couldn't stand you sleeping on his side of the bed. Well, it takes a dog to know a dog. He likes Goldens, you like blondes. My dog was right about you. From day one he caught on and saw right through. You're lying, you're cheating, and you're running round the truth. Oh yeah, my dog was right about you. If another life is what you get, hope you come on back as a little shih tzu. My dog.
Hey guys and girls, this is Australian country artist Hayley Jensen, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime on iHeartRadio podcasts and on thwn.org.
At JK Subaru, we love our cars.
And we love our customers.
We believe in being a positive force
in our community by being involved and giving back.
Respecting your time every time.
Our promise is a brighter future.
We all do our part to keep our promise to you.
At JK Subaru, we are more than just selling cars.
We are your neighbors, friends, and even family.
More than a car dealer, our people make the difference. JK Subaru at the airport.
Hey y'all, this is country recording artist Jay Webb, and you're listening to the best in music and sports with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime on iHeartRadio Podcast and at the sportsguyspodcast.com. You can also listen at thwn.org.
Elevate your next event with Backstage Pass DJ, MC, and announcer services, where unforgettable moments take center stage. We specialize in bringing energy and excitement to a wide range of occasions, including weddings, birthdays, corporate events, school dances, graduations, family reunions, class reunions, anniversaries, engagement parties, bar and bat mitzvahs, office parties, quinceañeras, sweet 16s, conferences, and more. No matter the venue, whether it's a banquet hall, ballroom, conference or convention center, concert hall, outdoor venue, office, community center, barn, or any location of your choosing, our team ensures seamless entertainment tailored to your needs. Let Backstage Pass create the perfect vibe, keep your guests engaged, and turn your celebration into a lasting memory. Book your event with Brandon Morrell and Backstage Pass today. Go now to thesportsguyspodcast.com and enhance your next event with Backstage Pass.
Hey y'all, this is Texas recording artist Marcy Grace, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and on the sportsguyspodcast.com. Stream the show anytime on thwn.org and on iHeartRadio podcasts.
The Caden Gordon Show. Today's best country mix is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
Hey guys and gals, this is Megan Lindsay, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and on iHeartRadio Podcast. Stream the show anytime on thwn.org and at the sportsguyspodcast.com.
Are you looking to increase your online presence? Are you searching for a new logo or company branding? Have you been considering more ways to reach the world with your business, ministry, or church's message? Barkley Music and Media is an award-winning design company that utilizes the latest technology while keeping the integrity of over 30 years of customer service. Web design, graphic design, multimedia, video editing, voiceover, commercials, logo design and branding, photography, and much, much more. See portfolios and testimonials online at www.barkleymusicandmedia.com or contact them today at 502-382-8299. Barkley Music and Media, your connection for the best in multimedia. Call today, 502-382-8299, or go to www.barkleymusicandmedia.com. Barkley Music and Media, integrity, technology, and design. www.barkleymusicandmedia.com.
Hey guys and gals, this is Robert Flores from MLB Network, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. It's a grand slam of music and sports talk on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and at thwn.org.
Welcome to another edition of Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast, with your host, Brandon Morrell.
And back here, the Backstage Pass, again, powered by that very website, the sportsguyspodcast.com and KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and our friends out there too as well, thwn.org, in over 27 countries worldwide, over 1 million listeners as of this past summer, 2025. And, of course, anytime right now, top search on iHeartRadio, podcast. Back here with my good friend Kate Hasting here on the program. We love her. She's so special out there. She's been through a lot, and just her story is and the songwriting. I love it. And you guys just heard right there with my dog here on the show. So my dog, you mentioned a lot of guys are really falling into that trap here. I shouldn't use that too as well, but for the saying is they love this song
as they do the Hasting trap. It'll get you.
Talk about this one for me. Yeah.
Well, wrote it with the usual suspects, Sarah Jones, Priscilla Block, Josh Beal. And what I've always really appreciated about Josh is his ability to call something a win before I'm sure of it, because sometimes you're just too close to it. And he had said with Brunch Drunk, the songs that have like served us really well, he's known, and that was one of them. And I was really going through it when we wrote that, and they finished it, and there were like some things here and there that I was like, I don't know. And my whole life has been about make it better, make it better, make it better. And this season is about it's okay to have been where we were, that we wrote that 6 years ago. That's still pretty good. And everybody's lived that, so I thought, okay, this is what people are messaging me about. This is what they want to hear. That's the kind of, thing I want to take into account when releasing. It's selfish in the way of it's going to be a fun album. I don't have a lot of sad left in me, and I keep saying this, but my God, I don't. It's just nobody wants to hear it from me. There are singers that can do that. I'm just like out here having a great time, trying to just hang out, maybe make you laugh a little. And I love the storytelling. I like taking, just that low hanging fruit hook and putting enough substance behind it that you're like, oh yeah, I have experienced that. So I thought that was a win with that song. And I had hoped we would be planning it out so I could get a dog and be like a whole promo thing. Anyway, maybe you'll hear that song more on TikTok next summer. I'll need it again.
I like that. Hey, as we close, and I'm going to have you back when the full-length record comes out with all these great songs so we can play some more and just try to get a few laughs, like you said, too, because that's all we try to do here with the sports, the music, the entertainment. I found it kind of cool, and this is where I knew about you, and I know you posted this on the Instagram out there, which is really cool. So for the people that don't know, that don't follow, give her a follow, Hasting & Co. on Instagram out there. But the cool thing is you are pro Crocs, not the reptile, the shoe. And then
the reptile's fine. Don't get me wrong. I just don't, with only so many characters, I didn't want people to get confused.
And then I'm like you because I have to wrap up in them in the winter, a Carhartt collector. Talk about that and what you have.
Oh man. I can really go down a rabbit hole with that, which, gosh, I just love Carhartt. It reminds me of my dad. And so it also fits like a box, which I'm sort of like built like a box. I also don't love like this. And this is, listen, to the beautiful women out there doing this on Instagram. Good for you. You're a boss. Not my vibe. Showing skin and like just constantly posting pictures of how hot I'm not is just not, it's never really made sense to me. So I have to make it fun. And Carhartt has like really evolved, not in fit, but in that, their mind's a little bit more open. And then with the whip line, the work in progress, which is sort of their designer street line, it's a full on chase. If you get on eBay, there's like certain overalls, these camo overalls. I'll tell you what, I have been trying to get those overalls for years, and they launched them right before 2020. Of course, it was a flop because everything was a flop except for Priscilla. And they, now they're rare. So, I love the chase of it. I love seeing the old stuff, or the old John Deere, like, jackets, the windbreakers that my dad had. I just anything like that sort of points back to home, because it really was a tough decision these last couple of years. Am I here or am I going back home? And I think in my mind, I've like created the best of both worlds by creating like a Mr. Rogers closet where it's like the same outfit in different colors, just except for this. I want someone to appreciate this shirt because I worked so hard for this shirt. NASCAR, that always reminds me of my uncle. And who doesn't like NASCAR? I mean, I actually know a lot of people, but my family did. And while we were more number 3 than 24, you know what Jeff Gordon got right? Primary colors. There is nothing that ages trashier than primary colors on a t-shirt like this. So I saw somebody selling this at Buffalo Exchange, and I saw the brand, and I was like, that's that's a collector shirt. And the lady's like hesitating on it because it has some holes. I'm thinking like, don't buy it. So I'm gonna go buy it out of this guy's bag afterwards. She's like, I'm not sure if we can take it. Take it. So then at least 5 people get a hold of it before me because there's some people in there that know what's going on. The guy sets it down to go in the fitting room. I've never done this before. I shamelessly went up. I was like, I've been here for an hour waiting on that shirt. It's going home with me.
Well, I know that you and I have to hang out and meet up next time I'm there for.
That is what you say.
CRS or the CMA week, and just I always people be like, be careful what you say. I'm like, well, you know where to find me and know where to find her.
Where bar lines? Is that where we find you?
That's where we find, yes, because I hang out there quite a bit.
Where I find.
If
Can't
it's not
find someone, go to bar lines.
Go to bar lines or the Hattie B's chicken right there on Broadway because I love my hot chicken. Well, I tell you what, the key is she persevered through everything, never gave up, and I'm so happy to reconnect here on the show. The Backstage Pass, again, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. Truck Talk, a call across all those digital streaming platforms out there for you guys. Make sure you go check it out. Hasting & Co. on Instagram. Kate, so good to see you here on the show. Congratulations on all the new music, the perseverance, never giving up.
Yeah, actually went from releasing a song a year to maybe 3. So let's get it, guys.
Let's get it. Hey, appreciate you being with us, and hey, continued success going forward. Come back anytime. We'd love to have you, no doubt.
Yeah, and you come back down here for the first time, see you at bar lines.
I'll see her at bar lines. Kate Hasting out there, Hasting across all the DSPs. Again, thanks to all the great sponsors out there. JK Subaru at jksubaru.com, 409-723-1111. Morrell Law Firm, Barkley Music and Media, and the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. We'll see you guys on the flip side. More great shows. Of course, high school football going on out there over the next few weeks with the Hampshire Finette Longhorns broadcasting some football. And the Houston Rockets coming up here, NBA season coming up just around the corner. We'll be over there doing select Houston Rockets games here on the Backstage Pass, your home for Houston Rockets basketball. And Double Down with Dan Matthews, Sports Talk 790 coming up over the next few weeks, talking about Astros and Texans, Cowboys, Rockets, you name it. We're going to talk about it here on some Sports Talk here. We'll see you guys on the flip side. God bless. Take care. We will see you soon.
Hey y'all, this is Ashlyn Kraft, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. You can also listen on iHeartRadio podcasts and at the sportsguyspodcast.com.